So did you know the guy who behind your placing, Jaehoon Alright, 24?
Yes,
You know
yeah,
him? Yeah.
yes, yeah.
So
Amazing legs,
yeah.
and his conditioning is great.
인터뷰 시작 전 간단하게 3대 500 신제품 클린 게이너를 소개해드릴까 합니다. 게이너 하면 그동안 싸구려 탄수화물로 채워진 체중 증가용 보충제란 이미지가 강했는데요. 3대 500 신제품 클린 게이너는 말 그대로 우리가 식단을 통해 섭취하는 현미, 보리, 검은콩 등 7가지 혼합 곡물로 구성해 당은 줄이고 퀄리티는 올렸습니다. 제가 먹어본 곡물 맛은 탄수화물 26g, 단백질 24g으로 2스쿱 섭취 시 건강한 한 끼 대용으로도 훌륭하다고 생각됩니다. 체중의 증가란 개념보다는 요즘같이 바쁜 때 끼니를 제대로 섭지 못하는 직장인이자 운동인분들께 식사 대용으로 강력 추천합니다. 아침에 아침 식사보다 잠을 선택해 아침을 거르는 일이 많았는데요. 클린게이너와 함께 늦잠 시에도 아침을 거르지 않게 되었습니다. 3대 500 특포이의 전 제품 할인 코드 대문자 TFE를 사용하시면 15% 추가 할인이 있으니 절대 빼먹지 마시길 당부드립니다. 참, 한 가지 빼먹었네요. 물에도 정말 잘 섞입니다.
So would you introduce yourself to South Korean bodybuilding fan?
Yeah, so my name is Niall Darwin. I'm on Instagram, One Punch Naz. I'm a classic physique IFBB pro and Olympia competitor, 11th place last year.
Yeah, that's great. I made a video about you, and people want to know about you more, so that's why I asked you to do some interview. What have you been doing after your last show, Brazil muscle contest?
So after the muscle contest, me and my coach had a talk and, just seemed to figure out after speaking to judges and things like that, what we need to do to be better and to try and push into the top 10. So I've been in my off season for a few months now, 260 pounds, still just this the heaviest and biggest I've been, still trying to grow and improve. And we have a couple more months of the off season and we'll be competing in the late summer this year.
That show was really viral because you did a really amazing job next to Lamondino. And did you check all the footage of that show?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was surprised with how I looked because obviously he's a top guy, and I didn't actually get to stand next to him because I was in the second call out, not the first. And you never know, obviously, how you look next to someone until you actually stood next to them. But I was happy with the physique that I brought to that show.
And before our interview, I checked your YouTube channel and I noticed that you're only 26 years old. And
Yeah.
people were shocked because obviously you look very great physique and you're still very young. And when did you start your bodybuilding journey?
So I started my bodybuilding journey when I was 20, in 2018. I did
2018.
my first show as a men's physique show in a different federation. I won that one. I won the overall. I did a British Championships with them later that year, and then I took time off until 2020. I did my first NPC show here, and I won that one. So I was 21 then, and then I turned pro in 2022 when I was 24,
Mhm.
and then I did the Arnold a couple of weeks later. Didn't do very well, got
Yeah.
last place. And then I took a break from the Arnold until Toronto last year, which is obviously when I won and then qualified for the Olympia.
Mm. And we here South Korea, natural bodybuilding thing is very famous. And I also noticed
Yeah.
that you had done natural bodybuilding until
Yes.
2021, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. What made you decide to jump on gear enhanced bodybuilder?
So I think it was my success of competing and realizing how much I loved it. And I had a friend who ended up becoming my coach, and he was saying to me, like you could really be something. He said obviously when you're not enhanced, you don't have at the top level. It's not going to
Hmm.
be the same. I mean, I had competed. Like I said, my first NPC show, I was still natural, so I was competing against enhanced bodybuilders then, and I won that show. And I think it was because I managed to beat enhanced bodybuilders while I was competing naturally. I think that was kind of the catalyst to push me forward. But it's not something that I don't think too deep into it. It's just something that it comes with the elite level of the sport. But yeah, obviously, paid off because I'm I'm here now, and in quite a short time as well.
And I can also check after the 2022 Arnold Classic UK, the last placing of you, and you spent 2 years off season, and then won the 2024 Toronto Pro, what was your mindset during those 2 years? Actually, 2 years off season is crazy
Yeah.
long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So honestly, at the time when I did the Arnold, it was great because, you know, I'm sure it's the same for South Korea. We don't get many bodybuilders like Jay Cutler and Ronnie
Yeah.
Coleman. They're not always in the country, so you know, it was great seeing all them and those guys being backstage with us. And I had a little bit of a surreal feeling. But then once that feeling goes, I was like, right, you know, I've got last place.
Mhm.
I haven't beaten anyone. Is this really what I want for myself in a pro league? So I kind of just had that feeling with me every single day. You know, I was on my diet for 2 years, you know, training, me and my coach working, you know, very closely together. And it was just on my mind that like when I come back to the stage, I want it to be the opposite. You know, I don't want to be last place. I want to be someone that everyone notices. You know, I want like a dominant look on stage. So I think that that's kind of why Toronto was such a big deal, and that's when people first started to notice me because I've been thinking about it basically for 2 years.
Crazy thing is, I saw the YouTube that 2022 Arnold Classic look and
Yes,
compare with the 2024 Toronto look, you
yeah,
only you 3 pounds less than before the
yes,
run,
yes. I
right?
was
That's
lighter.
crazy, yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
after first winning the shows, how was your feeling?
Oh, it's a great feeling. I mean, it was only 16 weeks, I think, till the Olympia, so I
Yeah.
didn't have much time to think. You
Yeah.
know, it's right. We've qualified. Back to work.
Okay, let's talk about the Olympia debut. You placed 11th, which is amazing result, I think. Did you actually satisfy with your result?
Um, it's not satisfied, but my own personal goal was just to get a placing because I knew
Mm,
I think there was 58 of us.
yeah.
So obviously it's my first time. You know, there's so many people that have been there before. There's lots of people placed, you know, top guys, and there was new guys like me. There was a lot of new guys. It was their first Olympia. So my goal was if I could get in the top 15, and that would be my goal achieved. So being able to get 11th, you know, and placing against some guys that I've been looking up to since I was 20 was a good feeling, you know.
I saw you're going to like uh final shows because you look that great. uh did you get the any feedback from the judges?
Yeah, so my feedback, which we're working on this year, was really obviously I still need to grow a little bit because I'm quite under my weight cap.
Wow.
But to come back with bigger lats and just to keep the conditioning, you know, keep getting a little bit tighter.
So when waiting, they fixed athlete's height. So what's
Yes,
your
yeah.
height and weight limit?
So my height was 6'1¼
Uh,
and my weight limit's 234 pounds. When I did the Olympia, I was 227.
really?
Yeah, yeah.
That's crazy. You still have a lot of room for growth.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's
So,
why we're 260 now.
what is your this year's Mr. Olympia goal?
So my Mr. Olympia goal, I think, really is to be in the first call out because you know I was only a couple of places away. But really, I'd like to be if I could get somewhere eighth or better. That would be a an amazing goal for me because there's so many great athletes, and there'll be people there'll be even more people, even more great athletes than there was last year pushing for this year.
So, uh, actually, South Korea people forced me to ask this question. So, did you know the guy who behind your placing, 12th placing, who was the most famous fan favorite bodybuilder in South Korea, Jaehoon Alright, 24.
Yes,
You know
yeah,
him? Yeah.
yes, yeah.
So,
Amazing legs,
yeah.
and his conditioning is great.
Have you ever seen? Did you notice him?
Yeah, yeah. So I
Yeah.
noticed him because I think he was stood next to me at
Yeah. Yeah.
first,
Yeah.
and then they swapped him for Logan. Yeah. So I
Yeah.
remember seeing him on some podcast when people were talking about me and they were talking about him,
Yeah.
and I think there was another guy as well. I can't. He's called Baki, I think, on Instagram.
Baki, yeah, Brain Baki.
Yes. Yeah.
He'll
Yeah.
compete the Arnold this year.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. He I remember seeing him backstage. He looked crazy as well.
Okay, so now I have to ask about the subscribers' questions. They really have a lot of questions. So the
Yeah,
first thing is gonna be about posing. Your posing is very smooth and great, and people want
yeah.
to
Thank
get
you.
some tip from you.
So the first thing I'd say is practice it a lot. So when you're getting ready for a competition, you want to start practicing it more.
Mm,
So for me, I was practicing it 6 times a day, going
6
into the
times.
Olympia.
Oh,
Six
do you
times.
have any other job other than bodybuilding?
So I was going to say, yeah, I'm a full-time bodybuilder.
Wow,
So yeah,
that's crazy.
but let's say for someone who has a job, if they're practicing it once a day, maybe when they get a bit closer, if they could do it 2 or 3 times,
Yeah.
maybe you could do in the morning, you could do after the gym, and then you could do just before you go to sleep,
Mm-hmm.
type of thing. And then really it's about find. So I watch a lot of posing routines,
Mm-hmm.
and I try out poses and I see what works for me. For example, I'm not going to hit a pose that a shorter guy will hit, probably because I'm taller, I have longer arms, and it may not look as good. So I would look at poses that taller guys will hit, and I'll try to, have my own version of that.
Do you share your example?
Yeah, so I like a lot of Kevin Levroni's type of
Ah,
poses because they're
yeah.
quite similar height. I think now I've said that, I think people will notice it in my routines. But I like a lot of that. I like a lot of Lee Haney's poses, the very
Mm-hmm.
powerful poses. I love poses from people like Lee Labrada, but
Wow.
he's a shorter guy, so some of his poses I wouldn't try, or I may change them to how someone that's a bit taller it would
Mm-hmm.
look better on.
Lee Labrada posing is great with more
Yeah,
mass. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Second question is about the glasses. I know Carlos Dahmer, and you
Yeah,
were wearing the glasses during the show, and I guess
yeah.
you guys feel more comfortable with the glasses rather than the lens, right?
Yes, yeah. I I hate contact lenses. That's the thing. So I've worn glasses every show I've done, every
Yeah.
single one. I mean, if they asked me to wear contact lenses, I would do it. It wouldn't be comfortable, but I
There
would
is
do
no
it. But
rule,
I
right?
just
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I mean. So I'm
Uh,
naturally comfortable. I mean, I have different glasses for when I compete to try and
mhm.
make them, so they're not black or anything like that. But yeah, it's something I never think about it too much, but
Yeah.
I'm just more comfortable with it, so I'll just keep them on.
Some of them talk about you reminds them like Nasser was as somebody.
Yes, yeah, I get that
Yeah.
comment a lot because of the glasses. Yeah,
Like we talked before, you built a pretty great physique as a natural bodybuilder. So, question
yeah.
is there any differences about training between natural and enhanced?
Um, Not really, to be honest. I mean,
Mm.
there's different opinions on this, but really, there isn't too much. I'd say when you're enhanced, you can have a little bit more volume,
Mhm.
that your body can recover from. But for me, I train heavy. I train with lower volume, so maybe I can have one or two more sets on my weaker body parts, like my lats, for example.
Yeah.
But there's not too much, honestly.
So only
If
difference
anything, it's
is
just
yeah, like
you'll just
recover
be a
time.
bit stronger.
Yeah, got it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, okay, here is the question. Do you have a favorite bodybuilder? If so, why do you admire him?
Is this? Do you think like a current bodybuilder or just anybody?
It's anytime.
Anybody,
Yeah.
anybody. I think really it's probably if I had to pick anyone, it's probably Phil Heath.
Wow.
Yeah.
Same as me.
Yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
love, his mindset when he was competing. I love how he kept getting better. And for
Mhm.
me as well, when Phil started, he didn't have a great back.
Yeah.
And obviously, by the time he finished, he had one of the best backs of all time. And
Yeah.
obviously, my back is something I want to bring up. So it's a motivation for me, because I want to bring my back up as well. And I'd love to, by the time I'm done, people to look at the transformation of my back and say, wow, it's something that was really, really special.
So you consider your bag is the weakness right now?
It has been. I mean, it's got better and better, but from when I
Yeah.
started my
You look
first
good.
shows,
Yeah.
it was definitely the and then yeah, like now because they still want the bigger lats, so I still
Ah,
look at it that way,
yeah. So, these are the typical questions.
Yeah.
Training split and diet tip. They
So
also want to know your RIP daily meal plan.
so my split, it obviously at this level it's very personal.
Yeah.
I'd say when you're younger or when you haven't been to the gym for very long, it doesn't need to be that way. You just kind of need to get stronger in general on every training exercise you do, and then find the body parts that are weaker, and then you want to have a little bit more volume with those. And then with the diet plan, it needs to be something that you can stick to, you know,
Mhm.
that's manageable for you. So if you have a busy job and you can't eat 6 times a day,
Yeah.
maybe try and look at a meal plan that you can do 4 meals. You know,
Mhm.
like I said, I'm a full-time bodybuilder, so I will make anything that my coach tells me work. You know, and then as for my diet plan, it's a lot of food right now. It's over 6,000 calories. So
Oh, wow.
yeah,
You eat a
six
lot.
times a day. So I'll eat things like cream of rice, I'll eat eggs, I'll always eat some kind of fruit like bananas or pineapple. You know, I'll eat normal rice as well, beef. You know, I'll eat yogurt and berries and frozen veg. Those are the most common parts of my my diet right now.
Mhm. Okay. Next question. Oh, very interesting questions. Do you believe smoking cigarette is harmful for bodybuilding? Actually, I've seen so many bodybuilders in South Korea smoking cigarette. Really, a lot.
I mean, I don't smoke.
Yeah.
I can't say, but I would imagine if you smoke too much when you're doing cardio, you know, it's going to be a little bit harder to
Yeah.
breathe. But I know some people will do it because of the hunger,
Yeah.
and it will stop them from
Yeah.
feeling
Yeah.
hungry.
Yeah.
But yeah, personally, I wouldn't do it, but I wouldn't, you know, say it's wrong to do if someone wants to do that.
I saw the videos. Marcus Rowe really loved the
Yeah,
cigarette. Yeah,
yeah,
smoking cigarette,
exactly.
right? Okay. Oh, this question is gold. Arnold Classic predictions. Do you have own prediction for this year's Arnold?
For classic,
Yeah, for sure.
yeah, for
Do you,
classic, I think.
if you have a open divisions, you can share it as well.
I mean, I'm from UK, so Samson.
Yeah, I'm the Samsung guy too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
I think in classic, I think Mike will win this one, but
Oh,
I do like Wesley, and obviously last year at the Arnold, you know, it was amazing. He managed to beat Ramon, you know, beat Urs, beat Brion, and I think for Wesley, it's only small about what needs to be right for him
mhm.
because he's beaten basically everyone. You
Yeah,
know, I think it's just if he misses the mark, then he might fall back a few placings because obviously you have Michael de Bull, and Michael's always conditioned crazy.
yeah,
You know, you have people like Matt Gregor. Matt's been getting better and better. So I think it will be a good Arnold, but I think to pick to win, I think Mike Sommerfeld will
yeah.
win.
So, that's wrap. I just came up a few questions. So, do you believe you're gonna win the Mr. Olympia one day? You're still young.
I got asked this question a bit ago, and I'm starting to believe it more and more. You
Wow.
know, when I
Mm.
when I first got started, I used to think, oh, you know, maybe I'll be a pro. Then it was like, oh, maybe I'll do some shows and do well. And every time I think that something is possible, I manage to do better than that. So, you know, now it's like it's starting to believe more and more and more. You know, I beat some big names at the Olympia.
Yeah.
You know, I did well next to Ramon in Brazil. So now I'm starting to believe more and more what I'm capable of.
Yeah, that was great show, by the way.
Mm, thank you.
Yeah. So, you said that you're gonna compete this year's summer, right?
Mm.
So, can you share the show?
So yeah, I'll share it. So I think this is the first announcement, but the main show will be Texas, and then
Wow,
we'll
really?
yeah, yeah, we'll
I love that
maybe
show.
do Tampa. Yeah, so
Yeah,
it's been I've always watched that show every year for years now, and it
yeah.
always looks like a great show. And then yeah, maybe Tampa as well.
Wow, that's great. So, thank you for the interview. And last things, do you have any words to South Korean bodybuilding fan? They love you.
Um, Thank you so much for the support. I know that South Korea is very, very passionate about bodybuilding.
Yeah.
You know, I see it all the time. There's plenty of bodybuilders that I'm fans of. You know, like Thanos as well in men's physique. You
Yeah.
know,
Oh,
huge
you know him,
fan.
yeah.
Yeah, so I definitely want to go there one day because the country looks very beautiful as well, and I would like to travel. But yeah, I'm very grateful for the fans for supporting me all because it's such a far away country. So yeah, I'm very grateful.
Thanks for the interview, Mr. Darwin, again, and
Awesome.
you have a really bright futures. I'm looking forward to seeing
Thank you.
you placing top 6 at the Mr. Olympia.
All right, man. Thank you.
Thank you, Darwin.